In this video, we are going to talk about uncertainty reduction theory. This seems to be a theory that makes a lot of sense to students, but students don't quite understand the full context. So I want to take a couple minutes and really try to explain this theory in more simpler terms so you can help with your understanding of it and understand more of the context of it. So when we're talking about uncertainty reduction theory, we're not referring to a long relationship development over time. That's probably better described by something like NAP stages or even social penetration theory when we talk about how our self-disclosure increases over time. When we talk about uncertainty reduction theory, we're really talking about like the first time to the first maybe 2 or 3 times we see someone, how do we determine whether or not we ever want to talk to them again or form some sort of relationship with them. And so when we first meet someone, the very first time, it's really what we're going to focus on here today. When we first meet someone for the first time, it makes us kind of uncomfortable. We don't know anything about this person. We don't know what they like, what they dislike, how they're going to act. Are they friendly? Are they not friendly? So, is it appropriate to make a joke with them or not? This makes us a little bit uncomfortable. So the theory says that we are really motivated to try to reduce that uncertainty about that person, to make that determination of whether or not we want to have future interaction with them. This is why we talk about first impressions being so important. And many times first impressions can be wrong. We can get the totally wrong idea about a person. So there's 3 phases to uncertainty reduction. There is first the entry phase, and this is the basic, hi, how are you, good, how are you? This is totally dictated by social norms. So when we first meet somebody, we kind of follow that script. Hi, nice to meet you. Yeah, nice to meet you too. As personal as it's going to get, it's probably talking about the weather. Now, what happens when you say, hi, nice to meet you, how are you doing today? Oh, terrible. I just had the worst morning in the world. My washing machine broke and I spilled water over the floor. And then maybe I'll say something embarrassing like, my underwear in my washing machine, I lost it. It flowed away with all the water and got ruined. Okay, somebody tells you that the first time they meet you, you're probably going to run the other way. And that's when we talk about the exit phase. You've determined immediately, this person doesn't know how to follow social scripts. I am out of here. They've moved right to the exit phase, past that personal phase. So again, in the entry phase, we generally follow those social scripts. Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? Nice to meet you too. And very basic information. The weather's great. Yeah, I've really been enjoying the summer. As we go along and talk to this person, then we start to maybe get a little bit more personal. Not like really personal, just enough so we can really break that uncertainty. We might ask them questions. We might try to make like little jokes here and there to see how the other person's going to react. Remember, our goal is we want to be able to predict their behavior. If we can predict how they're going to act, we're going to feel a lot more comfortable about that person. So again, this is in that personal phase. We're trying to just uncover little bits and pieces to see, can I predict their behavior? If they're acting like you can't predict their behavior, we're probably not going to be reducing a lot of uncertainty. We're probably going to be uncomfortable, and we're going to go straight to the exit phase and say, no, thank you. I really don't want to see this person again. I really don't want to interact with this person again. So again, then we move to the exit phase. So after we've been through the personal phase, you've asked a couple questions, you've kind of reduced some of that initial uncertainty. Then we do naturally go to the exit phase where you determine, yeah, I got along with this person. I think I would like to see them again, or I think I would like to have a future relationship with them. All right, yeah, we'll get together. All right, cool. See you later. Bye. And maybe it's not so much that formal but you get an idea. So, brief overview of uncertainty reduction. Again, we're really referring to the very first time that we meet somebody with this theory, not relationship development over time. That being said, there are times where it might take a couple times, where you go through this phase a couple times before you really can make that determination in the exit phase. But usually after your interaction is done the first time, you've made some sort of judgment about what you think about this person and whether or not you want to see them again. So again, we're really referring to that very first interaction.